What folklore creature do you think really exists? Megaconda. It's just a really, really big anaconda, and since those snakes grow continually throughout their lives, I wouldn't be surprised if some have, in the past, gotten over 50 feet or more. Might not be new to most people, but the jackalope actually does exist, technically. The jackalope is a North American legend, a rabbit with antlers. In reality, it's a rabbit suffering from a virus that causes weird growths on its head. The Pauke of Maori myth. Or at least it did exist. We've got fossils. The Maori killed off its food supply. Edit, it's the Haast's eagle. New York City's sewer alligators. In the early 20th century, small crocodiles as pets were apparently a popular thing among kids, and when they started to get too big, parents allegedly disposed of them by throwing them down the drains, / in the sewers like dead goldfish. I can totally see them living off the massive sewer rats and growing to be a decent size, and a dark, dank, muddy environment like the New York City underground seems like a viable habitat for them. They were also the inspiration for Doc Connors from Spider-Man. I think orang pendek probably existed until relatively recently. Still may be extinct for thousands of years, though. The stories make sense. They are widespread and common in the areas it was said to exist, and there is a fossil record for small hominids in other islands in Indonesia. Most of the ocean things I wouldn't be surprised by, considering we thought coelacanths were thought to be extinct until relatively recently. I think it makes sense that there's all sorts of crazy shit down there that we might never discover. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Also Mothmen, just because I think it's hilarious and too ridiculous to be fake. I'd love to believe that one day when we have mastered the whole space travel thing, we will detect alien life on another planet which will freak everyone out, mass panic. Then we go to their planet for a little look and it's just a bunch of Ewoks jabbering about being adorable. I don't think it's necessarily likely per se, but my family are Irish and they hardcore believe in the fair folk or the AOC. They're not exactly fairies, they're different, meaner. You don't fuck with them, basically, and if something's going horribly wrong in your life, it's probably because you fucked with them or you made them angry. And you have to be careful how you talk about them, too. Kind of like with skinwalkers, you don't name them, you just call them the fair folk or the folk. They mostly hang out and try to get you to owe them a favor. You don't take anything from the folk or you owe them one, and you don't want to be in that position. There's a lot of different types that do lots of different things, though. I don't want to come off as that weirdo who believes in what is essentially fairies, but I grew up with the stories and I have a healthy level of skepticism about this. I'm not saying they're real, but I'm also not about to step into a fairy circle anytime soon, especially not at dusk. The Kraken is almost definitely an extra thick colossal squid, and I want him found. I would not be terribly surprised for us to discover a North American ape or monkey living in the deep woods, but I will be shocked if it is more than 2 feet tall and 50 pounds. We humans are unbelievably bad at estimating size and distance. Ask any hunter about ground shrinkage, and that is on an animal they love and know passionately and spend years staring at. Someone catching a glance of something odd and remembering it huge is not even a little unusual. The two I think are most likely. The Kraken. Giant squid have finally been conclusively proven to exist in the last decade or so. It's not beyond belief, and even larger varieties out there, or was still extant at the age of sailing. The other is Bigfoot / Sasquatch. While the most well-known sighting recording has been proven a hoax, the stories of them go back hundreds of years in native tribes. The description is not that far off from the Gigantopithecus that once really did exist. While it seems unlikely a sustainable breeding population of those could have remained alive this long, it's not impossible. We've rediscovered other species thought extinct, and the Pacific Northwest is huge and there are a lot of very remote forests. I'm a lot more dubious of this one, but these are the two that seem the most plausible to me. Mokele mbembe, a sauropod that lurks in the massive jungle / swamp / rainforest in Central Africa. That Japanese creature with an eye on his butthole that runs up to you and moons you while looking at you. There is weird shit in the deep woods. Unicorns, or as the modern world knows it as, rhinoceros. Russian Yeti. There was a 3-hour documentary on Discovery and it freaked me out. Considering the fact that we've recorded massive sea creatures moving faster and deeper than anything we know on sonar, along with the fact that we've explored what is it, less than 2% of the ocean, we're also finding new sea creatures every day. I realize that sounds far-fetched, but this is all off the top of my head, and from what I've heard from a number of sources. Whether they were all reliable or not, I honestly cannot recall. I think it's possible there's some big shit down there. Oh, and as someone else mentioned, shit in the deep woods. Not many people have gone to where I'm talking about, even those that go miles into the woods stay on well-preserved trails. So how do we know there isn't shit miles into nowhere? I guess all my countrymen are still asleep down in the southern hemisphere, so no one's posted it, but the Min lights are definitely something real and more than just something you can blow off. Yowies are also probably out there, along with other things. Australia, same as Canada, is so big and so uninhabited that, at least to me, it's really not that hard to accept that there are things out there that we don't know about. I mean, for all we know, maybe these creatures are subterranean and are rarely on the surface. The orange pendek. The orang pendek. It's a small bipedal ape supposedly inhabiting the rainforests of Sumatra. A group of scientists even claim they have distinctive footprints in hair samples, but it's not really confirmed if it exists. Edit, fixed name. As a form of traditional demon, the Baba Yaga, a witch Slavic culture, folklore, had an imaginary friend named Baba Witch that lived in my barn when I was little. One time I was playing with it and got locked in a room with no lock. I screamed for nearly 30 minutes before my mom got me out. Fast forward a few years, and I had gotten these things called creature cards, which are like big cards with pictures and facts about animals and monsters and stuff. When I saw the Baba Yaga, it looked almost exactly how I'd imagined Baba Witch. Fast forward to now, it all kind of clicked for me. Thunderbirds. According to legend, St. George the Dragon Slayer earned his moniker by traveling to Middle East, Libya, fighting and killing a dragon. You might assume, and many did, that the story was made up. But they discovered art in the Middle East from the time period showing a knight in full British armor fighting a giant crocodile. So I think it was all true and the dragon was real. The people of Britain just didn't know what a crocodile was. Edit, shouldn't have said British armor, better to say knight's armor. Edit 2, Middle East should be Africa. I'm a dumb American. Edit 3, the art was from Barcelona and supplied by the much better informed, whose reply is below. Edit 4, I'm pretty sure the people of Britain still don't know what a crocodile is. The sea bear, the techniques to keep it away are very complicated. If there was an undiscovered folklore creature somewhere, I'd put all my money on it being one of the ocean ones, Loch Ness Monster, Kraken, etc., some sort of sea monster. The ocean is so incredibly big and goes insanely deep, who knows what we can't see in the depths. Edit. To everyone hitting me with the loch means lake, not ocean. Yes, I am very aware of that. But it is called the Loch Ness Monster because it was seen in Loch Ness, a lake which is very much connected to the ocean through River Ness. Which means if it's real, there's a chance it's from the ocean, making it a sea monster. Although, to be fair, I have no idea how big the river is, but it could have slipped through the river when it was a baby and grew up in the lake. That toucan that drinks all those pints of Guinness, he's out there, irresponsibly flying while intoxicated, catcalling some seagulls, shitting in the bushes, gotta watch out for him. My girlfriend that goes to another school. For hundreds, if not thousands of years, fairies have been throughout stories, literature, and tales, little bright lights. Surly people were seeing something. Maybe it was assumed the orbs had tiny human form, IDK. Could go hand in hand, I suppose. I'm not superstitious, and I don't necessarily believe in them, but I have Irish ancestry, so I do my best not to piss off the Fae. You probably won't see anyone openly believing in them, but a surprising percent of these people follow the Fae's rules, at least in my family. Canadians, they are just not as nice as legends say. Giants. Throughout history, the average height for a human was pretty damn short, so a 7-foot-tall man, certainly not impossible, would definitely be a giant. Throw in some late surviving Neanderthals, and you get what certainly looks like a giant. Wendigo and Skinwalkers. Edit. Guys, this comment got so many answers I can no longer read the new ones that are showing up because they, disappear from existence after I tap on them in my messages. Mermaids, just because. The Wendigo. El Chupacabra. It could very possibly be real. It really is not that crazy of a creature. Those commonly pale, white, or otherwise deformed bipedal creatures that a lot of people record and post on websites when exploring densely forested or otherwise abandoned or underpopulated areas. Not really folklore, so to say, but I thought I would throw this out there. The Kraken. I can just picture a centaur walking into a pub somewhere up in Norway after a long day of doing whatever centaurs do. Alright, so in Minnesota there's this cryptid lumberjack folklore that exists called the teakettle. To put it simply, it's a corgi with cat ears that walks backwards by choice and whistles like kettle. All it does is roam around forests and whistles, but it's super shy. So if you hear it, you're lucky. It's so fucking cute, I need it to exist. So the teakettle. Herobrine. Trolls. Dragons. We have reptiles. Why not slightly bigger fire-spitting reptiles? Banshee. Scares the fuck out of me thinking about them. Skinwalkers. Seriously, the number of askreddit threads I've seen with bizarre wolf creatures, large humanoids in the woods, and people discussing skinwalkers is downright chilling. Unicorns. Not the magic part, just the horn part. Aliens. Danny DeVito. Wood elves. Hidden away in the deepest parts of the world, they saw what we're like long ago and vowed to keep themselves secret. Skinwalkers. Fairies, the northern European kind. I live and work in the woods. I end up places where people simply don't go, helicopter in and out kinds of forests. There's something out here I don't understand, but it certainly seems to understand me. I wear a sock inside out every day because of it, a trick my nan taught me. Always wear a piece of clothing inside out, or the fairies will take you. I don't fuck with the fairies. Gorgons. How else do you explain all of these stone statues? The Bugane. It's an energy stealer by giving you nightmares. Lots of people have nightmares and wake up tired. Means the Bugane could have slipped into your mind and bedroom. They never take enough to kill you unless you see its rat-like face. The Lusca. For one, people have disappeared in the blue holes on the Bahamas Islands for a long time. They are connected to the ocean by long and winding caves that a shark can't fit through. Only an octopus could. People are dragged down with no bite marks, no blood in the water, and no remains to be found. And then this happened. On January 18, 2011, the body of what appeared to witnesses to be a giant octopus washed ashore on Grand Bahama Island in the Bahamas. According to eyewitness reports, the remains seemed to represent only a portion of the head and mouth parts of the original creature. Based on their knowledge of octopus morphology, local fishermen estimates the total size of the creature when living to be some 20 to 30 feet, 6 to 9 meters. You're probably saying, oh, what's the source, InfoWars? Wikipedia. And a direct link to the archive story. The biggest octopus on the world is supposedly the giant Pacific octopus with a max size of 14 feet. This one would be more than twice that. River Monsters also had an episode on this. IMDb. People for hundreds of years have reported seeing enormous octopi. People have allegedly seen tentacles rise out of the sea, or the entire animal grab someone and sink back into the sea. Some people don't even want to go near the blue holes. And if you watch that video of the octopus grabbing the crab from the water and dragging it in, you know other octopus species do that. Shadow people. I had an experience when I was in high school that made me believe. I told this story before, but this was at my friend's apartment building, which his parents owned. It was a pretty old building in the Pilsen neighborhood of Chicago, and according to his dad, it used to be owned by Al Capone, but I'm not sure how true that was. We had an apartment on the top floor that they let us use just to hang out and allowed us easy access to the roof so we could go smoke cigarettes. One night we were about to go up, but I had to pee, so I told him I'd meet him up there. After I was done, I went up the stairs to the attic portion that was connected to the roof. There were no lights, so we always used our phones to guide us. We had those old flip phones without lights, so you only had the light from the screen to help navigate the cluttered mess that was up there. As I made my way to the roof door, I saw a shadow pass by me. Now, this wasn't like the shadow of something moving with the light of my phone. This shadow felt solid like a person. I followed this direction and went, thinking it was my friend. I kept saying that I knew it was him and to stop playing around. It passed me a few more times before heading to the other side of the attic. And that's when I heard my friend's voice from downstairs. He got a call from his girlfriend and was in another room talking to her the whole time. I have no idea what that shadow figure was, but it really freaked me out, and I told my friend what happened and that I did not want to go back up there. Direwolves used to exist, but went extinct. I'd like to believe Mothman exists, but he's just the Batman of this universe.